Hello, fellow traveler. Alicia Zielinski-Straub here, coming from Seabright, New Jersey, licensed professional counselor and somatics facilitator. I am excited to be here because it's time. I was listening to a talk the other morning, as usual, and this phrase jumped out at me and it resonated. It resonated deeply. Discomfort is the currency of growth. Discomfort is the currency of growth. It was Dr. Joe Dispenza, by the way. And I'm like, ooh. And I started to think about life for me over the past 2+ years. This deep undertaking that I went through to truly begin to learn about the mind-body connection. As a therapist in private practice, working with clients from all walks of life, privately through the employee assistance programs, with which offer me the tremendous opportunity to be in diversity. It's a common theme that I think really holds us back. This discomfort, the idea that if it's uncomfortable, it's not for me. And that's a beauty of the somatic approach, which gratefully I fell into about 2+ years ago when I underwent this life transformational experience. And for the first time ever, my nervous system like truly settled, and I was able to drop down from the activity of the mind and into the body to feel this sense of inner peace and balance, something I'd never like tapped into before. And it was emotional, a lot of stuff came up, a lot of stuff released. And it was an awakening experience. I know we hear these terms a lot these days, but it's the best way to describe it. And as I work with individuals on a day-to-day basis, and we're, being inundated 24/7 by external stimuli, and there's information available to us within milliseconds, artificial intelligence and its uses, whether it's a blessing, a curse, or both, it's really starting to pull us away from this like natural intelligence that we really would benefit greatly from tuning into. And so we do this in a variety of ways, consciously. It's about growing more conscious. It's about recognizing our human tendency to get caught up in autopilot mode, where we're just like running in patterns, habitual patterns that may serve us. But oftentimes we like take that step back and like what's really going on here. Oftentimes, like we could be going about things in a very different way that would yield a different quality and feeling tone of life. So the mind is real tricky. It's extremely powerful when we can transcend the ego, when we can, not be locked into the defenses, the many ways, shapes, and forms that we get involved in these defenses that sort of cause us to contract, to close off to things that are uncomfortable, right? And in this world, there's a lot of uncomfortability right now, but the trick is to learn how to open up to life, to open up to opportunities, to open up to the challenges, to open up to the difficulties, and in this state of opening, to really like lean in, without this judgment, it shouldn't be happening or it should be happening. I don't like this, I like that. To just learn to lean in without that judgment, cultivating the spirit of curiosity. Like, what is this? What is this? And compassion. Ooh, this is a little uncomfortable. I'm feeling this in my stomach. Look, my chest just tightened up. Let me take a deep breath here. Let me ground down. Let me just, realize that it's safe, it's okay. but to really lean in a non-judgmental way with the spirit of curiosity and compassion. It allows us to move through life in ways that doesn't automatically lean into that contraction and that closing off, when we grow and we learn and we experience. Yeah, we make mistakes. We make mistakes, but from those mistakes, let me figure out what I might or how I might go about this just a bit differently next time. When we can stay in a more grounded state by using the breath, oxygen moving through the autonomic nervous system, which controls everything, right? Using the breath, using the senses, right? Coming into the body, into present moment awareness, like feeling capable, like trusting that in this moment, I can handle things. I can handle things, or I can ask for help. It's like really important. It's really, really important. And what we find is that the capacity to tolerate discomfort, to understand, the emotional body, the emotional part of us, like these physiological firings of chemicals that are seeking to convey important information so they can be expressed. And so we're motivated to take action. When we are on autopilot, we miss out on a natural intelligence, which is trying to help us navigate through our lives. I understand we all have different things going on, different challenges, but at the end of the day, we do need to remember that because we are human, we have these human experiences. And just because something's a little uncomfortable and we might not yet have the words to describe whatever is going on, it doesn't mean it's a problem. That inner critic, that part of us, it's like the little naggy voice, and you just contributing to absolutely nothing but to stress. Like, oh, we can notice it. Like, hey, I see you. Thank you. I see you there. Thank you for trying to help me. But I'm going to go about this. I'm going to learn to go about this in just a slightly different way, a little bit at a time, each and every day, a little here, a little there, incorporating new practices, new skills, resourcing ourselves in a new way that allows us to leave these thoughts circling around. Yeah, we see them. They're there. They're in the field. They're on the radar, but they're not going to take over. They're not going to be in the driver's seat. Fear is not going to run the show anymore. I'm going to ground down and I'm going to learn to trust that through consistent daily practices, connecting the mind and the body, there's nothing that I can't get through. And this is big. This is a natural intelligence that is up to us to tap into, especially today when we're being pulled in a very different direction. This type of awareness that I'm talking about, this type of awareness allows for choice. Okay. We need to put some space between ourselves as this witnesser, this conscious observer, correct? I'm here. I'm here. I'm seeing it. These are just thoughts. These are just feelings. These are just intermittent physical sensations. It's not who I am. They're experiences that are trying to pass through to inform us of something. And I don't need to be afraid. Now, barring life-threatening situations, that's a different story. That's not what I'm talking about here. However, I am talking about this deep dive that I just really, stumbled into. Or maybe it's not a stumbling into. Maybe there's something beyond, me. Maybe I don't have to carry everything on my shoulders. Maybe I don't have to try to control everything or manipulate conditions and figure things out to get my way so I can feel comfortable. Maybe I can learn to let go, to relax and to release into the experience, to allow the unfolding of life and to build the skills within necessary to really feel like I'm here for a purpose. Like this is what I'm here to do. Now, on this road that I'm on, this whole new path is just like really just like opened up things in a way that I had no idea. Like I really thought I was plugging along here and feeling good, and then wow, like something else just out of nowhere. And I I do believe for me it's God, for others this could be the universe, the ocean, a park, a tree, whatever. Like just this idea that there's something beyond me. Well, I believe that something beyond me. It's like really led me to face the discomfort, to learn how to sit with difficulty, to tolerate certain distress and not drop back into former ways where I was like super duper, like paralyzed with anxiety. For those of you that know me personally, it's definitely been a journey. It's been a healing journey. It's been a growth journey. It's been a transformational journey, which is why I'm completely and wholeheartedly dedicated to continuing on this path and helping others do the same. So, currently, I am in private practice and I see clients. I see clients at the individual level with this somatics. I now facilitate breath work and meditation, yoga, using the body, moving energies through, releasing tension, being able to quiet the mind and move into stillness. Right? Move into stillness, calm those brainwave frequencies, calming the heart rate, like opening up into a new layer of the mind that allows for creativity, innovation, collaboration, right? And there are conditions. There are conditions that absolutely um, are helpful. We can build them, we can put them into place. You're think back to like COVID and the isolation and the changes, vast changes and troubling changes that have resulted from that experience, and a disconnect. And so it becomes our responsibility to reconnect, to reattune to life, to ourselves, to the self, to connect to self. So from this connection to self, I can more authentically connect to others. I build tools, strategies to ground, to be put in place. That, I can hear you, I can understand or be willing or try to understand your subjective experience, right? It's not like I'm right, you're wrong, or you're right and I'm wrong. It's like, the sense, cultivating the sense that I want to understand you. And I hope that, like, in my understanding you just might want to understand me, right? And in that sense of I get you, I see you, I appreciate what you've been through, and you're not alone. We're in this together, fellow travelers, we're in this together. The nervous system calms. So the connection to self, connection to each other. This is wonderful. This virtual stuff is wonderful. It's opened up pathways. Who would have believed? But in real live person connection is important. So stepping out into community, I find it very, very difficult to experience community, which is why I have found certain groups to support me in these healing practices. Right. And I look around my life, and I'm like, wait a second, if it's not there, we create it. We create it. And so that's what I'm trying to do. Like this past 2+ years has led me on this path to incorporate mind body practices, to be doing purposeful work in the counseling room, but outside of the counseling room, offering workshops, offering opportunities to be together in nature, whether it's hiking or being on the beach, doing some breath work, doing some mindful movement, stretching. It's not about yoga for fitness or looking good in an outfit. It's about, whoa, like I didn't even know that I could tap into this sense of peace, this relaxed alertness, my true self, right? I mean, ultimately, along the way, it would be wonderful for those that are listening or viewing and feel like, wow, like this is like touching my heart, or I get it. How might we find ways to come together in collaboration, to use our natural talents, our strengths, and our abilities together collectively to form experiences for us to be together, to feel safe, to feel connected, to feel supported, to bounce ideas off of without some, former or current existing attitudes of like being shamed or criticized because you're not doing it the right way. Cultivating this sense that everything needs to be perfect because I can't make a mistake. Well, guess what? We only know what we know until we know something else. That concept really released a lot for me and allowed me to sort of like, again, lean in, step in, try, stick my toe in the water. This concept of titration introduced in somatics. Like, it's not like starting tomorrow. It's no, like I'm going to ease into this. And as I'm easing into whatever this may be, because it's an alignment and it's in my heart. It's a desire of my heart, and it's helpful, not just for me, but for those around me, for the world around me. I'm going to ease into this. Well, I titrate out of certain things that might have been helpful. Maybe we were not resourced in certain ways, so we relied on certain behaviors, certain mechanisms. And it's like, okay, thank you. That compassionate approach. Thank you. Thank you for trying to help me, but I'm going to try a new way now. Right? Right. So back to Dr. Joe Dispenza. I know some people are on the fence about him, but boy, do I love listening to his meditations. It really is about reprogramming the mind, right? This chemical looping between thoughts and feelings, mind and body, thoughts, feelings, feelings, thoughts, looping, same thoughts, same feelings, same thoughts, stuck. Trauma doesn't necessarily mean someone just put a gun to my head. There's very large scale traumas, and then there's ones that are small, but not small by any means. Consistent, daily, repeated exposure to something that's so overwhelming, we don't know what to do with it, but the experience fragments. And then suddenly out of nowhere, like, why am I freaked out? Why did my alarm center, that limbic system, just completely hijack me, and my heart's been racing all day and I have no idea why I'm nervous? Like, the issues are in the tissues, the cells hold it all, right? And so when we incorporate these body-based strategies to relax the nervous system and slow down the thought processes, we actually can discern. We can use discernment, right? Is this thought really true? How can I prove this thought to be true? Because guess what? We have like tens of thousands of thoughts a day, and they're not all true, right? But we think they are. We act in accordance, and then we wonder why the same things keep happening again. So it's just like I could go on and on and on and on. And those of you who like to hang out with me know that I can go on and on. And that's not the point here. The point here is to really express my enthusiasm and demonstrate my commitment to steering this course and to helping anybody who might be interested steer their course as well. So whether it's individual therapy, group exercises, again, workshops, hikes, meditations, retreats, getting into, had the opportunity to do some work trade experiences. I have one more on the calendar. If anyone's interested, I think there might be one more space left for Whitefish, Montana in August. Right? These opportunities to get together in these communities where there's a safe container to hold the space, to do this exploration and to experience these practices, to move from a state of contraction and restriction to opening up to life and the possibility that awaits in this field of the unknown. It's like, oh, uncertainty. I don't know what's going to happen. Trying to control everything. Well, you know what? In order for things to form, there needs to be space. Particles, they need to like come together and do their thing, to form, right? And so when we work on improving our relationship to the unknown. Like, I don't know what's going to go on out there, but I know that I can stay grounded. I know I can work through these difficult things. I know, I feel it's like the felt sense, not even a knowing. It's this in every cell, every fiber of my being. I trust inside that I can show up and stay grounded. I can pick and choose the people who are in alignment with me, like-minded others who can support me through this and not go through this alone, right? Right. So that's my spiel for today. And for anyone that's interested, the next upcoming event will be a garden meditation in the Little Silver Community Gardens, weather permitting, on Monday, June 23rd from 5:30 to 6:30. There's no cost involved. You just show up. You can just sit there, you can watch, you can take in the energy, you can roll your eyes and say, you know what, I'm never doing this again. But you know what the point is that willingness to just like stick your toe in the water, to stick your toe in the water and try to have a new experience, and breathe through it and be like, wow, what did I just learn here? Right? So we have the upcoming garden meditation on Monday, June 23rd from 5:30 to 6:30 in the Little Silver Community Gardens. We have one space left, an opportunity to come along with some individuals and adventure out to Whitefish, Montana. I've never been there before. Doing a little hiking and paddleboarding and some yoga and some other really cool, like, moving in inner work. There's also the opportunity, if anybody's interested in this, more body-based somatic practices, I can work with you individually, whether it's breath work, meditation, yoga, a combination of both, just to tap into, you know, a space you might not realize is waiting for you. So yeah, Journey with Alicia is my Instagram account, although I do need to get a little bit more on my game, making posts and stuff like that. But I don't want to get too sucked up in that. And the website, aliciazstraubcounseling.com or aliciazstraub.com. There's all types of information up there. My contact information, my cell phone, my personal, my work. It's all the same. It's confidential. You can text, you can call. So yeah, discomfort, it's the currency of growth. We don't have to be afraid of it. We work through it. So I'll leave you with a complicated yet simple thought. So oftentimes we mistake comfort for familiarity. Because something is familiar, there's comfort in what's familiar, right? We can be in the most uncomfortable situation, but because it's familiar, we stay in it, right? But when we step outside, just slightly outside of our comfort zone, and it's a little uncomfortable, it's a little unfamiliar, guess what? It cannot stay unfamiliar for very long. It's just the nature of like how things change. So we can step into the unfamiliar and be uncomfortable for a little while, but then sooner or later, what's unfamiliar becomes familiar, and there's a new sense of comfort. Whether it's healthy for us or not, that's a different story, what adaptive or, moving in our aligned direction. But, we get to make choices, and these mind-body practices, awareness, it brings us choice. It removes us from autopilot, this mechanical operating where we're just like moving through life and wondering like, where's this hole coming from? Why am I not experiencing the joy? Right? So these are different things that we want to look at. And, I know I'm here to help. I am here to help. There's so many people, so much literature, so much. It can be a little overwhelming at times, but just reach out. So remember, discomfort is a currency of growth. Don't judge it, breathe through it. If you need a little support, reach out. Otherwise, I'll catch you soon. Have a wonderful day.